Hey y'all, if you want to attract swallowtail butterflies to your garden, you have found yourself in the right video. My backyard is full of host plants that are here for the specific purpose of bringing in the butterflies. So let's go see what I have that'll bring in the swallowtails. From trees to herbs to vines to just your everyday plant. There's a lot of varieties to choose from for different types of swallowtail butterflies. We'll start right here with the woolly Dutchman's pipevine, Aristolochia tomentosa. This vine hosts both the Polydamas swallowtail and the pipevine swallowtail. I have raised both on this vine, and I have it planted in many locations in my garden, but I want you to see you can do it in a pot with a trellis, you can plant it in the ground with a trellis, or as I recently learned from another YouTuber, you can just plant it in the ground and let it grow as ground cover. Aristolochia tomentosa, pipevine swallowtail, Polydamas swallowtail. I'll show you pictures of what they look like at the end of this video. If you're interested in getting any or a lot of these plants, many of them are carried by Joyful Butterfly, which is a mail order butterfly gardening plant service. I have an affiliate link to them in the description section. Next, we'll head up into my potted tree house that's full of trees that are in pots. And I'll show you the butterfly host plant to the butterfly. I am so wanting to get established in my garden, but I've only had it visit one time. So at the end, you'll see I do have a photo of the butterfly, but I don't have the caterpillar. And that is the Zebra Swallowtail. They are such beautiful butterflies. Let's go see their host plant. And that would be the pawpaw tree. There are several varieties of pawpaw trees, and yes, they do well in pots. This is the common pawpaw. And then in a smaller pot, I have the small flower pawpaw. I also have a common pawpaw planted in my shade garden right here. Now this pawpaw tree is about 4 years old, and you can see all the larger it is. They grow very slowly, but when I get those caterpillars, somebody's been eating, it will be worth the wait. And I truly, truly, truly so hope that I get them one day. The next one's pretty easy to remember, and it is the host for the butterfly with, I think, as inarguably the most adorable caterpillars. And you'll see at the end the photos. They're absolutely adorable. And that is the Spicebush. And yes, the caterpillars are adorable, but the butterflies are absolutely gorgeous as well. My Spicebush is in an understory setting, and it gets filtered sunlight, and it seems very happy here. These plants do go through a period of dormancy, just like the pawpaws we just saw. They will die back all the way to sticks, but then they'll pop back out in the spring and be ready to go. I also have a few of the spice bushes planted in pot, and they do just fine in pots as well. This is the Sweet Bay Magnolia. And oh, if we'd have been out here filming this just a few weeks ago, you would have seen it blooming. It had beautiful magnolia flowers on it. It is the host plant to the Eastern Tiger Swallowtail. Have I found eggs on this yet? No, I have not, but I have found their eggs on some of their other host plants in my garden. But I wanted to add this, you know, because I like having the whole collection. This is potted, but it is not in the potted treehouse because it's heavy and it's just going to stay right here beside my beautiful Rudbeckia hirta pot. And it seems to be perfectly content in its pot. It's been in here for a year now, I'm pretty certain, and it seems to be doing just fine. Right beside that potted tree is another potted tree, the red bay, which is the host plant to the Spicebush Swallowtail and the Palamedes Swallowtail. I haven't gotten eggs on this plant either, but one day I hope to get the Palamedes because I have not raised them yet. Red bay trees like to grow in lower, more wetter regions in Florida. So I just make sure I give this potted one a good drink regularly. And also let the growth come down at the base of the tree because that's where the butterflies tend to like to lay the eggs on the fresh new growth. Up next is my sassafras tree. Y'all, I love my sassafras tree. Not only is it the host to 3 swallowtail butterflies, it's a beautiful tree. It likes an understory setting, so it's under all of my tall oaks, so it gets filtered sunlight, but it also has a color change. Its leaves change in the fall. It's like having my own little fall tree here in Florida. It is deciduous. It will drop its leaves and then come back in the spring. This tree is on, I believe, its 4th year in my garden, and yes, 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 I have found Spicebush Swallowtail caterpillars on the sassafras tree. I also have sassafras trees in pots scattered around my garden as well, because that's just how much I love those Spicebush Swallowtail caterpillars. But not only that, this tree is also the host to the Palamedes swallowtail and the eastern tiger swallowtail. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I do think they carry these on Joyful Butterfly. They might be out of stock, but they do have a wait list usually. So go check it out and get one of these in your garden. If you think you don't have room for it, put it in a pot. For the next plant, I have not had more violent encounters with a plant than I have for this one, the wild lime. Why, you're wondering? Because it has these nasty little thorns and they'll grab you, they'll get you, they get stuck in your hair. I've had the plant grab my arm and like literally is pulling at my skin, and you just have to be careful. But oh, is it worth it having these beautiful plants in my garden, because they bring in the giant swallowtails. They are the host plant for the giant swallowtail, and I love the giant swallowtails. I also recently added a Hercules club to my collection, but it's not in the ground yet, but I'll show it to you in a minute. It is also thorny and prickly, and it is the host to the giant swallowtail. As far as swallowtails go, I have more of the giant swallowtail wild lime host plant than any other host plant. This is my first wild lime, the first one I added to my garden, and it's gotten pretty tall, and I have to keep it trimmed up because I have a little walkway around here and it will get me every time I go by. And then back in the corner there, I have another one. And then I have them in pots scattered around. I have them right here. Look at this. It's right up against my bald cypress tree. And these do very well in pots. And the cool thing about them is that's a pretty big pot. And so this is a pretty big plant. But over here in my milkweed garden, I have small pot, small plant, and this one's really, really cute. It's like my little bonsai wild lime. So if you want the giant swallowtails, got to get some wild lime. I don't think they have wild lime at the Joyful Butterfly that I've seen. So for that, you'll have to check at your local native plant nursery. And if you're in Central Florida, you need to check with the Nectary. They usually have some, but I would call first just to make sure. The next plant is right here, and this is the wild black cherry tree. I have 3 of these growing in my garden, and this is a host of 450 species of moths and butterflies, but the one I have it here for is the eastern tiger swallowtail. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous butterflies you'll see at the end of this video. And yes, I have had eggs laid on this very wild black cherry tree, and I have raised caterpillars and released butterflies. It's a fabulous tree that can get really big, so research it. But they'll also do well in pots, so you don't have the room, put it in a pot. I do believe they have these on Joyful Butterfly. They might be out of stock though, because they're really popular, but try and get one if you can. Here in my cart, you can see is my little Hercules club. See how prickly it is? So this is also a host to the giant swallowtail, and this plant will be going into a pot. And the next plant we're going to talk about, also a small tree, also a host to the giant swallowtail, is the wafer ash. This tree is also about 4 years old. I love it. Mine is growing in partial shade, and I do not believe I have one of these in a pot, but I would think that it would do just fine in a pot. I have had giant swallowtails lay eggs on these, and I have raised the caterpillars from the wafer ash tree. So I've been very successful with this one and the wild lime. You know, the more the merrier. The more you have to offer them, the more likely it is that they'll come. And the last group of host plants, and I say group, is for the eastern black swallowtails. That is a beloved butterfly. Every time I post a picture of them on Facebook, they seem to be the most popular. And they have a variety of host plants. So I'm just going to go over the ones that I have here because they work well in my hot Florida garden. But there are many places across the U.S. where you will find eastern black swallowtails. So you want to find what will work in your area. And let's go see what I have. Bronze fennel. I have grown all of this bronze fennel from seed, and I have lots of it because right now I've only had one female eastern black swallowtail butterfly lay eggs, and I currently have 4 babies in the lepidarium, which I will show you in a minute. But the bronze fennel holds up very well for me in the Florida heat, which is why I choose to grow it. However, anything in the carrot family like parsley and carrots. And the next time you're eating a carrot, you can literally cut off the end of it, stick it in some soil, and you'll get this, which will feed the eastern black swallowtail caterpillars. So it's so easy to get these host plants going. And it's easy to get them going from seed, but it can take a bit of time, so you want to start your seeds early. Now, I do raise some caterpillars to butterflies, and not like massive quantities to, you know, add to the population, but really for me, because I love the caterpillars, and to get some good pictures of them and to use them for situations like this, to make videos to show people who I'm talking about. So I'm going to take you in and show you who I currently have in the lepidarium in caterpillar form. That is a swallowtail. I have 2 types, I believe, yes. And then I'll go through the whole thing backwards and I'll show you the butterflies and then rename the host plants that go with them so you can make your shopping list. This is my lepidarium. I just keep a few of each species in here of all the types of butterflies and caterpillars I have host plants for in my garden. But the guys we're looking at today are eastern black swallowtail caterpillars, and they're just munching away on the fennel. So these guys are on a potted fennel, and I just brought them outside because there's better lighting. And they will turn into beautiful eastern black swallowtail butterflies. And then this is a jar full of cuttings of wild lime, because they do fine in cuttings. The bronze fennel does better in pots. Cuttings don't last very well or long. And this is a tiny baby giant swallowtail caterpillar. They have this super cool adaptation of looking like a splotch of bird poop. So predators just fly on by, think it's nothing they're interested in, but we all know it's an adorable caterpillar that's going to become a most beautiful butterfly. Okay, so now we're going to sit here and look at my flower garden. And then I'm going to put a picture right here of the caterpillar and the butterfly. And then I will say their plants. That way you can see what they look like and you'll know who you're looking for if you get these plants in your garden. So first one is the giant swallowtail, and that would be the wafer ash, the wild lime, the Hercules club, Palamedes swallowtail is the red bay and the sassafras. Eastern tiger swallowtail is the wafer ash, sweet bay magnolia, and wild black cherry tree. Spicebush swallowtail is the spicebush, red bay, sassafras tree. Polydamas swallowtail is the woolly Dutchman's pipevine, Aristolochia tomentosa. Pipevine swallowtail is also the woolly Dutchman's pipevine, Aristolochia tomentosa. Just a little note on those two. Be very careful with the pipevines you buy. Make sure you know what they are, because there are some pipevines that are not good for the pipevine swallowtail. Believe it or not, make sure you get the right one. Zebra swallowtail, pawpaw trees. And lastly, eastern black swallowtails, which we'll do on the carrot family, bronze fennel, parsley, dill, rue. There's also a plant called golden Alexander they will host on. If you found this video enjoyable, informative, useful, tap the like button. If you want to learn more about turning your backyard into a wildlife habitat for butterflies, pollinators, birds, and anybody else who happens by, subscribe to my channel. And if you want to support my efforts in spreading the word about butterfly gardening and having all of these incredible creatures living right outside your back door, then join the Milkweed crew. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, the Joyful Butterfly link is down below. It is an affiliate link, so if you order through my link, Joyful Butterfly does pay me a small percentage of the sale. It doesn't cost you anymore. It comes from Joyful Butterfly. And if I counted right, this video covered 13 more of the host plants that I have in my garden. I already made part 1 of the host plants for the monarch butterfly. I'll link that below in the description box too if you want to watch that one. And I have over 50 host plants in this garden, so we still have some more to come. Keep watching. This is part 2. Part 3 and part however many more to get them all will be coming in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.